Hi, everybody. It is April 24, 2021. I posted this yesterday, this video. SJW, Social Justice Warriors equal Maoist Red Guards imposing totalitarian struggle sessions. Manhattan High School proves it. Included in that video was my reading most of this piece written by Paul Rossi, who was a teacher at a private high school, Grace Church High School in Manhattan. And it is really very important to circulate this piece written by Paul Rossi because it shines a light on what has happened to public schools and private schools with this critical race theory, with imposing upon children a Black Lives Matter dogma, ideology. Okay, well, let's just say that our schools, private and public, are now thoroughly and quite obviously indoctrination centers. Communist takeover? Well, it's a Marxist takeover. Call it what you want, but it is a wow perversion of even a communist Marxist takeover. Okay, the reason why I'm posting this is, consider this video an addendum to the video that I posted yesterday, because I came across these tweets that are conversations, little clips of conversations between Paul Rossi, the math teacher who is no longer a teacher at Grace Church, and the head of the school, George Davison. George Davison, these little short clips really reveal that even the heads of the schools realize that something's very wrong with this critical race theory and what schools are doing. And he admits some of what Paul Rossi stated in that writing, but he doesn't seem to do anything about it. See, that's the problem. We really need people who have the courage of their convictions. We need moral people who literally feel compelled, that they're compelled to speak out against injustice. Ironically, critical race theory is supposed to bring justice and equity, the buzzword, but it's so bringing an injustice to all students that if adults can't see the injustice that is brought to all students, causing harm, and can't see how abusive it is, well, maybe they need to go back to school, take courses in how to begin critical thinking in one's own brain. I don't know. But, okay, let me play. There's 3 clips. This is the first one.
Different. About having a single experience where you make sense of it, right? And having a teacher, an authority figure, talk to you endlessly every year telling you that because you have white...
Oh, I apologize. I'm not sure if I started from the beginning, so let me go back. Okay.
Let me ask you something, George, because I think there's something very different about having a single experience where you make sense of it, right? And having a teacher, an authority figure, talk to you endlessly every year telling you that because you have whiteness, you are associated with evils, all these different evils. These are moral evils. It's not the same as taking like a physical thing because it doesn't affect your moral value. That's the problem.
The fact is that I'm agreeing with you that there has been a demonization that we need to get our hands around in the way in which people are doing this understanding.
Okay, so you agree that we're demonizing kids?
We're demonizing we're demonizing white people for being born.
And are some of our students white people?
What?
Are some of our students white people?
Yes.
Okay, so we're demonizing white kids. Why don't you just say it?
We are using language that makes them feel less than for nothing that they are personally responsible for.
So there he is, demonizing white people for being born, demonizing, making them feel less than for something that they're not personally responsible for. This is what he is doing to children. And he states that we're trying to wrap our hands around it. You get rid of this. That's what you do. You throw it. The whole curriculum, you throw it in the nearest garbage. That's what you do. You don't, we're trying to wrap our hands around it. As you try to wrap your hands around it, you're abusing children on a daily basis. Okay. Oh boy. All right, so this is the second clip. Wow.
You can have, and I'm happy to keep debating, and I don't actually have any doubt, because I've known you for 9 years, of your sincerity in your belief. And I also have grave doubts about some of the doctrinaire stuff that gets spouted at us in the name of anti-racism.
Like what?
And so I don't disagree entirely with some of your points of view.
Can you elaborate? Because it would help me. It would help me understand like what's going on. I
think that one of the things that's going on a little too much, and we've talked about this, is that the demonization of being white and the attempt to link anybody who's white to the perpetuation of white supremacy.
Thank you. Thank you, George.
So there is no question that there is an entire strain in here that causes that misinterpretation. Now, I am someone...
Wait a minute. But what about impact over intent? Don't those kids get the benefit of impact over intent?
Truly amazing and outraging. So this is the last one.
Our attempt is going to be to get everybody centered again.
All right. I will tell you, I mean, that's a huge task because I will tell you that we are, if you try to do that, they're already like the barn doors open and they're all in the barn. I mean, they're fighting a revolution that you don't even know they're fighting. And well, Grace, they're going to hollow out Grace and they're going to move on to the next institution. That's what's going to happen. Like,
I think that they've hollowed out a bunch of other ones ahead of us. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're just a little stone in the path. This beautiful, wonderful institution that's educated so many children over almost a century is
over a century. Our attempt is going to be to get everybody centered again.
All right. I will tell you, I mean, that's a huge task because I will tell you that we are, If you try to do that, they're already, like, the barn door's open and they're all in the barn. I mean, they're fighting a revolution that you don't even know they're fighting.
That's exactly right. Okay. We're going to attempt to get everyone centered again. What the hell does that mean? What does it even mean? I wish he had asked that question. But he's exactly right. This is a revolution taking place every single day, and it's taking place 24/7. And if people like George don't begin to really grapple with reality that this is a revolution, that his institution will be hollowed out, just like he admitted that they've hollowed out other institutions, it doesn't sound like he cares all that much. We're going to try and get everyone censored. Censored, yeah. Centered again. Centered? You've got to get rid of this curriculum because it is factually wrong. Talk about dumbing everyone down. And talk about pitting the students against one another. There's only two options where you can place yourself as a student. Oh, but you can't place yourself. Somebody else places you in two categories. You're either a victim or you're the oppressor. Guess where the white students are. They're the oppressors. And the non-white students, they're the victims. This is public and private schooling today. And if that doesn't not only alarm, but enrage people who are adults, then there's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with George. There's nothing wrong with Paul. He knew he was going to face consequences. But because he really cares about his students, he could not remain silent. And he loved his work. But his first obligation is to my students. Well, the majority who work in public and private schooling, their main obligation is to their paycheck. And that's the problem. But if your main obligation is to your paycheck, and you're fooling yourself, telling yourself, oh, but I love children, you're remaining silent as these children are being so abused now in schools, then you are deluding yourself. It's called self-deception. You don't care about the kids if you're remaining silent. You do not care about the kids if you remain silent. And the only way to get to a place where Paul is by facing the truth that you don't care about the kids. Because that is when you will begin to think. You will begin to do some reevaluation, self-reflection. And that's the only way that you can get beyond your delusions, your self-deceptions. But Paul is right. This anti-racism, the training, the pedagogy, it is so harmful to the students. It's also harmful to the teachers because it is based on an outright lie. It's not real, and it's literally forcing one view. That's it. You cannot have any other view than what this critical race theory says that you can have. Because, well, if you don't go along with it, you get in trouble. And if you haven't seen this video, you can listen to what is going on at Grace Church High School, what's going on with the students, what's going on with the teachers. There are no alternatives. So they're forcing upon these students that the white students are racists, and they have to accept that. The teachers have to take the training, and they also have to accept that they're racists. And if you deny that, well, you're just showing your discomfort and your white fragility. You can't accept that you're a racist. So these people who don't even know you are telling you who you are. That's where we're at today. And that this is still going on. There are more and more parents fighting this, but that this continues. It reflects who we all are. As Americans, it reflects our society, and it reflects adults don't really care about the children. And they need our care. And they really need our care right now. The links are below.